If you have not read this book, do not watch this episode. We are going to be spoiling it. We're going to be talking about it. So proceed with caution.
With caution.
If you have read the book. If you have not read the book, don't watch this video. If you want to read the book, but you're unsure and you want to know what's going to be in the book before you read the book, watch the video. But disclaimer, we are not responsible for any spoilers that you encounter because you decided to watch this video. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you.
Yeah, viewer discretion is also advised when you read the damn book because
absolutely,
it is very visual. She doesn't hold anything back, and her mother was terrible. So there's a lot of stuff that she did that was awful to this little girl.
What's up, everybody? I am Azari.
I'm Face.
Welcome if you are new, and if not, welcome back to another episode of Witches and Weebs, where otaku, spirituality, witchcraft, and fandom come together to create a harmonious community that is witches and weebs. We dive into all things mystical, magical, witchy, and weeby. So if you are here, thank you so much for your time and joining us in our journey to betterment. And we hope you have a lot of fun as we do. Welcome to Sunday FUNDAY, where we just do whatever we want because no restrictions, no limitations. We like to yap. Who doesn't like to yap?
So what are we doing today?
Today we are going to be yapping, as usual, about a book that we have been reading. Yes, Space and I have been reading. That is why we're here. We started a little book club, and we have currently been reading I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And oh my God, this book is a book. Okay.
One, it's very well written, even though I'm typically not partial to first person.
Me neither.
I actually really enjoy the way that she wrote this, and I'm surprised that she can remember all this. To me, that's why I think that I mentioned this while we were discussing it. First, the reason I wanted to read this book is because I was a watcher of iCarly. I'm a big fan of Miranda, and I'm a big fan of Jeanette herself. I love her. She was my favorite on that show. And knowing how much she hates that show breaks my heart, really.
Knowing how much she just hates being in the industry, but for good fucking reason.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely she hates that because of what she was going through during that time of her life, because it is revealed in the goodness me, there's so much we could talk about this book.
Okay,
and we're not even done with it.
We're not done with it, but let's start from the beginning. So I'm Glad My Mom Died is a book about Jeanette McCurdy recounting her life as a child with her mom as her manager, getting her started in the acting scene. This is happening because, let's be honest, if you've read the book, her mother is a narcissist. Her mother is a projecting narcissist who took her dreams that she could not fulfill and put that burden and responsibility on her child.
Downright awful.
I've seen some people talk about this book and they're like, is this actually a healthy way for Jeanette McCurdy to grieve? Or is this actually a healthy way for her to talk about her feelings? And are we sure that Jeanette McCurdy just isn't over-exaggerating what happened? No.
Her trauma led to her fame. So by reclaiming that through writing a book and making sure that everybody knows about it is reclaiming her fame and saying, this is what was going on to me while you guys were ha-ha, ki-he-he. I was being abused while this was happening.
Right. The me y'all know
yeah, absolutely.
Is not me.
We all should know exactly what happened to her while she was filming her shit. Because we all watched her go through it. We just didn't know what was going on.
Like, to have that situation going on as a child and then getting into your adolescence and then having to deal with who she calls in her book the creator of iCarly. Oh yeah, Jeanette McCurdy was in I didn't realize that she was in Mad TV. I had no business watching Mad TV when I was the young age of like 5, 6, 7 maybe. And I never realized that she was on the show. Like, she had a little cameo on the show, which is crazy to me because the fact that she can remember every single detail down to the T, to where you go watch that clip of Mad TV, it is exactly how she described it.
I guess it's a case of, well, remember that her mom was a hoarder. So my idea is that maybe her mom kept literally everything. And so while they were cleaning this out, all these memories were just coming back to her. because I did go on to her. So she left the industry in 2019, I think is when she had her last official role. And she kind of just stopped everything, which is, I believe, too long after her mother died. Mm-hmm. And after Sam and Cat ended, that was kind of it. And it took almost 6 years for this book to come out. 5.
She had this loaded in her pocket.
5 years. Yes, she spent 5 years dealing with this. And so I think that she has perfect amount of rights to write this book and expose everything. And she also spent 5 years sitting on it and sitting on all those traumas by herself.
We're not even done with the book yet. That's the crazy part.
Okay, so I figured out that I'm a pretty decently fast reader once I get into a book. So I'm very far ahead of Mia, and
I can't read fast because if I read fast, my brain doesn't have enough time to process what I'm actually reading. I'm just scribble.
Her mother basically conditioned her into having OCD, and every Mormon, she mistook her OCD voice for the Holy Ghost that every Mormon is supposed to hear, aka their conscience. But whatever. They just hear their inner voice suddenly, and it's like, oh.
And it's so crazy that her mom was so hypocritical like this, because they were Mormons, and I'm using the air quotes Mormons because her mother went against everything that the Mormon religion stood for, and she's like, it's okay. God makes exceptions for us. It's fine. And Jeanette's like, I don't think it's fine because I don't think that he would make exceptions for just us. But my mom has groomed me and conditioned me enough to have her believe that she's right. Her mother is so emotionally manipulative. Don't even get me started on the fact that she brings up her cancer every chance she can get for people to pity her. And it's not even
stage 1
pity.
Cancer.
I thought it was stage 4.
Stage 1 cancer. No, they found it extremely early. Her first cancer.
Oh,
the
her
second
first
cancer is stage 4. But the first cancer they found exceptionally early.
Not saying that cancer is not extreme, because cancer is extreme, but the fact that she was waving it around like it was some people need to admire me and appreciate me and love me because I'm a survivor. As someone who has lost someone to cancer, I love that for you. That is not a reason for you to parade around and use it like a fucking badge of honor to get what you want because you want people to pity you.
But yes, the first cancer was actually genuinely caught very early. She was pretty lucky because I do believe that it was it's the same cancer that she gets later, so it gets very aggressive. So she's lucky in that regard. But she was using it literally. She was told to bring it up in every conversation. Jeanette was told to bring it up to every single fucking audition that she went to because you'll get sympathy points. And Jeanette was like, oh my God, it was easy to bring up on shows like ER or blah, 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 because I relate to the material, but I can't really bring that up on shows for auditions for Nickelodeon and shit like that. She was thinking about how to bring this up in auditions because her mother had used it so much and was telling her to use it so much. That's crazy.
It is crazy. And Jeanette was never allowed to be a kid. Even her grandfather saw this is not as much responsibility as a child should fucking have at all.
Here's the thing. Wow. She was not allowed to be a kid while also being forced to stay as a child after a certain point where she started to get boobs and her mother put her on an extremely calorie restrictive diet to keep her extremely tiny, ending up where she didn't get her period until she was 16.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Her mom didn't let her shower alone. Her mom had her showering with her older brother. And Jeanette is like, I think this is very awkward. We don't want to look at each other because we are at a ripe age of our preteens, teenage life. And we are still sharing a shower together.
A shower?
Her mom is washing her and giving her body checks. And it's like, you are not allowing your child to be a kid while simultaneously trying to tell your child that you want her to stay a kid forever. If you looking at that from the outside in, it's so
unhinged.
It's unhinged. It's unorthodox. It's just not right. And it's like, I'm not allowed to be a kid, but you want me to be a kid forever? And she probably wanted her to be a kid forever because she knew that when she grew up, is exactly happening right now would happen. Unfortunately, she's not here to witness this, which is why Jeanette took the opportunity to reclaim her life. Like, all right, she's not here anymore.
I need everybody to know what I went through.
This is her liberation. She's free. It's so unfortunate that you lost your mother, but you gained your freedom. You gained your liberation. And
holy shit, did she need to be free?
She did. She wasn't allowed to do anything that she wanted. It was to the point where she was so jaded as a child that all she cared about was her mother. And then when she's exposed to these childlike things, when she's with her dad or she's with her grandpa, she's like, she has these moments of, what if I just told my mom the truth? What if I told my mom that I didn't want to do this? And then when she tells her mom she doesn't want to do this, what happens? Her mother guilt trips her into doing these things that she wants her to do. And Jeanette's like, fine, I'm sorry, Mom. I'll never bring it up again. I didn't mean it. I was just joking. Haha, my bad. I don't like speaking ill on people, but holy shit, her mother was a terrible person. Her mother was absolutely fucking awful.
The funny part is, later on in the book, when she gets her freedom, she goes through a completely rebellious, drugs, drinking, everything under the sun situation. And I will say that when you do read this book, abuse, trauma, sex, drugs, it's all in here. So trigger warning. God, this woman needs to be desperately free. And like, when you have a famous childhood like this, you can't ask people to deal with it privately, because it's not fair to them that we get to think of this part of their life as, oh, everything was sunshine and rainbows, to the point where Jeanette McCurdy literally hates being Sam. If you reference her as Sam when you see her, she will ignore you. She only responds to people when they call her by her real name, because that means they like her as a person. Like, if I were to see her, I'd be like, oh my God, Jeanette McCurdy, holy shit.
Right, like, oh my God, it's Jeanette McCurdy.
And so that's what she's doing. She's separating herself from Sam. She's reminding her that that was just a character. I'm the real person that was playing this, and this is what was going on to me while this was happening. And I want to bring up how at the very end of the Sam, I know you're not at this part, but at the very end of Sam and Cat, it was so bad with the creator. He was not allowed to be on the set. He was on a entirely different set by himself, surrounded by all of his little playthings and his Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards, because they were the most important thing to him. Those orange blimps. He would sit in a room surrounded by them. How fucking pathetic of a man do you have to be?
Extremely. And it's Sam and Cat, literally.
Oh, that's because Jeanette didn't want to be on it.
I could tell, but also, so I watched a little bit of Sam and Cat, and you could tell that
the other person in regards, which we will also not name because I'm about to say something, she also didn't like Jeanette. They didn't get along at all.
You could tell, because when you watch the show,
they hated each other.
They had no chemistry.
So here's the thing: is Miranda Cosgrove was the first child actress or actor or anything that showed Jeanette McCurdy kindness in Hollywood at all. She said that there was always like a sense of competition between the kids, and when she got her role as Sam on iCarly, Miranda sent her a really cool gift basket, like $100 to a really good movie theater at that time would be pretty, like, probably several movies, and like all kind of sweets and all kind of shit that obviously her mother didn't let her have, but the intention was super nice, and they became really good friends over AIM instant messengers. They were having sleepovers. They're sisters. At least they were sisters while recording iCarly. They were BFFs, and they spent really good quality time outside of that afterwards as well. So I appreciate that they actually were friends, because there was a lot of rumors when they were on the show that they didn't get along. But I think that might have been probably the creator fueling drama for the sake of
drama.
Yeah.
But Sam and Cat was not a good show.
Yeah.
They just took two two favorite characters from two different creator shows and put them together. And I'm pretty sure he did that for the sake of trying to keep some sort of finance afloat because this was his last leg.
You want to know the most annoying part? Because I know you don't mind spoilers for yourself. It was never supposed to be Sam and Cat. It was supposed to be just Puckett, where Sam, edgy teenager, turns into a counselor for kids.
Why the hell was Cat on the show then?
Exactly. Because they were capitalizing on Cat's popularity and they wanted to make her very, very... she got all kind of special treatment, the things that Sam couldn't do when she was on iCarly because we don't want to write you out of the show. She got written out of the show in a box because she had to go perform, but not for Jeanette. Jeanette couldn't do that.
Is her mom still alive at that point? I don't know.
Yes. Or no, actually, I don't think so. Let me check. Just for the record, we are reading this on ebook, so I'm gonna buy it for my personal collection. I just like to read them first to make sure like it would be something that I would support, enjoy, and shit like that. I don't want to buy anything I don't like.
Right. If we think you deserve the money, then we will give you the money, provided that we have the money to give you. Don't worry, we're ethical consumers, or as ethical as we can be.
Yeah, we definitely sail the high seas and then support as many people as possible that we can. I think that her mom either had just died. I think her mom might have been sick, though. I think her mom might have been sick and having said cancer return. So she wasn't as much in the picture anymore. Oh, yeah, she was, because I remember this was right before she got caught on TMZ with... Oh, no, okay. She had just died. Like, literally just died. I think probably within the first season of Sam and Cat.
So she had no mom breathing down her back.
On a show she hated.
But was on a show she hated with the creator. And I can guarantee, I haven't gotten to this part yet, but I am theorizing that Jeanette, after her mom died, had no direction because her mom controlled her entire life. She did things that her mother told her to do. All of her guidance that she received was by her mother. And when you take away the everything that you had, you have nothing. Jeanette had, she didn't know how, she doesn't know how to be her own person now because the person that she was created by her mother. And when her mother is gone, who am I? What am I living for?
I'm gonna give you a little hint. Remember her yearly birthday wish? The year after her mother died, I remember her saying, I didn't wish for anything because I had the point of my life, I had no point. Every year she was living for her mother to wish that she would survive another year. And after her mother died, okay, well, that's my reason for living. I have no reason, no more wishes.
What do I do now? And at the very beginning of the book, Jeanette is talking about how her mother was in the hospital, I think either unconscious in a coma, and everyone was saying things to try to get her to wake up. And Jeanette's like, hey, Mom, I'm finally at the weight that you wanted me to be.
You wanted me to be.
And her mom didn't wake up, and it settled in her like, damn, this is really fucking happening. That like I can't imagine.
Not even mentioning the weight she wanted her to be at was 89 pounds.
Right. And it's so insane because people can see that this girl is malnourished as hell. And they're telling her mom, you need to get her some help. We think she might have an eating disorder. Jeanette McCurdy had no idea what anorexia was, but she heard the word a lot because people were looking at her. I'm very curious.
Glad this bitch died.
I'm very, very curious, like, what would have happened to Jeanette McCurdy if her mother did not pass? And if her mom eventually did pass, like, would we still have gotten this book? Probably. Would there probably have been more in the book? Maybe. Would we have seen more of Jeanette McCurdy in Hollywood longer than she would have liked to been? Absolutely.
Here's the thing about her story. If her mother would have just paid attention, she could have still been in Hollywood because Jeanette McCurdy was interested in writing and directing. She wrote, even though it was a plagiarism, which it really wasn't. Let me just be real with you. The Parent Trap is about two twins that get their parents back together, not two friends who get their single mother and father back together. She could have made it different. She wrote a screenplay as she was a child. And she was always interested in writing, and her mother absolutely loathed it, didn't give it the time of day. Jeanette remembers that she literally thumbed the page with like the utmost disappointment. I don't want you to like writing more than you like acting. She didn't even like acting. And then she goes on to Sam and Kat and tries to get into the director's seat. And someone said that they would quit the show if she was ever put in the director's seat. No names were said, but I think the only person that could have that power is of who we know. Wasn't going to be any side star, that's for sure.
Right. Her mother was a nurse, and I cannot stress this enough that she didn't want Jeanette to be behind the scenes because she wanted Jeanette to be in the front. She wanted that glory. She was literally living vicariously through her child because she couldn't have an acting career herself. And so she started projecting all of the things that she wanted onto her child and convincing herself that this is what her child wanted because that's what she wanted so bad. And Jeanette's like, I love my mom. My mom is looking out for me. So if this is what my mom wants, then my mom's going to get it because this is the only time that I can see her happy. Like, Jeanette, even going through what she was going through, still had such good, pure intentions because all she wanted to do was make her mom happy. That's what she wanted. But she had a very unfortunate mother who played on all of her weaknesses and then emotionally manipulated her into doing all of these things that she didn't want to do.
For every good thing that her mother said, it was immediately followed by something bad. She had this girl in fucking teeth whitening strips, bleached hair at like 8 years old because she was pretty, but not enough.
To put in perspective just how unbearable her mother is, Jeanette also had her grandfather and her father in her life. Now, they weren't a very good capacity of wanting to save her from her mother, but they just didn't want to deal with anything that her mother had to say or anything that her mother had to do. And it's like they loathed this woman more than they cared about Jeanette trying to get her out of that situation. And that dysfunction contributed to her lifestyle on top of her mother being the way that she is.
They really let that mother run the household, though. They didn't hate her enough, I think. They had no feelings at all. They were apathetic. They thought that this is just how whatever God they believe in intended life to be, and that was it. Because they let that mother run that household. As soon as her mother flipped, because she obviously had some fucking mental health disorder, because she went 1 to 100 immediately.
Yep.
And just verbally abusing. That dad was kicked out of the house for just coming home.
His house, by the way, that his parents own, that they're letting them rent.
Yes. He's kicked out. They didn't even sleep in the bedrooms. The hoarder situation was bad. None of the kids they were sleeping in the living room on Costco mats. I do have to say this was a rough read.
It is a very rough read.
It is a rough read because it tainted granted, I'm glad to say that iCarly was probably a little bit of a bright spot in her life because of her relationship with Miranda. So I do get to enjoy that they have that friendship, but it's tainted literally everything else about that show for me. I'll never be able to enjoy any of it.
I can't enjoy.
And now going back, some of it is like just not, yeah. Going back now is just, most of them are just not, it's just been like 38 minutes though. We should probably wrap it up.
You didn't even finish your thought.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
That's fair. If you do end up reading this book, please exercise caution. Like Space said earlier, there is going to be trauma, there's going to be sex, there's going to be dark stuff in here. And this is not fiction. So do not glamorize this. Do not romanticize this. This is real life.
This is real life. This is a biography. This is themes of abuse, trauma, sexual abuse. Drugs are mentioned later on in the book. Regular sex is mentioned later on in the book. Grooming is mentioned later on in the book. Mia hasn't gotten to that part, but there's definitely a questionable relationship between a very 18-year-old and a 27-year-old.
When kids in Hollywood recount their experiences, It's never good. I can't name one child star that can sit down and say, I had the best life as a kid actor. Everything was so good and so nice and so whole. If you can name me one child actor who can recount positively about their experience in Hollywood, I will give you $2 because that's all I can afford to give you. So name me one child star that actually liked what they did and genuinely liked what they did. Not a cover-up where they came out later and said, I hated this. I hated everything about it. Name me one child star that genuinely liked being in Hollywood, and I will give you $2.
Just fair warning, this is a very rough read, but if you are a watcher of iCarly or Nickelodeon, I 100% recommend you read it. Hate to break it to you, time to ruin some of your childhood.
Thank you, Jeanette McCurdy, for sharing your story with us. And we hope that it inspires more people to speak out against their narcissists.
As well as Hollywood starlets speaking out on shit like this.
Right. It's not fair that people see you in this light and then you're just supposed to resolve all of that in the dark. Like, no, if y'all were here for this part, y'all are going to be here for this part too.
Yeah, it's not fair to her to say that, she shouldn't be sharing all this. We should be able to enjoy what she did without knowing. Nope. You can know and still go back and enjoy the fact that she was on that damn show.
You need to understand what she was going through when she was making these shows that y'all enjoy.
It's called nuance. Unfortunately, not everything is black and white. Not everything can just be wholly good or wholly bad. Everything is nuanced. So please go support her and buy her book. I 100% recommend it.
We haven't even finished it yet.
Very well written. Yeah, we haven't finished it yet, so.
We're recommending it already. That's just how good it is of a book.
We've yapped quite a bit today.
We have yapped quite a bit. We're very good at yapping, but for the sake of brevity, thank you for joining us for this video. If you liked it, please leave a comment. Tell us if you've read this book. Tell us if you have thought about reading this book.
Tell us if our review has inspired you to read the book. Please just tell us your thoughts on the book and your thoughts about the idea of child stars sharing their stories later on in life. I would love to hear that as well.
As usual, please like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when we are uploading new videos, because who doesn't want to be first in line for an episode of Witches and Weebs? We do. We do. And
Except
we always
we
are.
Sucked last week because we didn't comment.
It's like you're sitting in the room with us and we're just yapping and y'all are listening to us yap. That's basically what this is.
That's exactly how we want it to be honest.
As usual, also, practice safely, practice wisely. Yes, we haven't talked about witchcraft today, but it's always something that we do because we are witches and weebs. May all of your positive...
I have my witchy book here.
Exactly. So may all of your positive manifestations and affirmations come to fruition, because they will. Magic is real. And we will see y'all for the next episode of Witches and Weebs. Bye, everybody.
Stay mystical and magical.